In the previous video, we went through what's inside here, and in this video, we are going to create a character and let's see how many missions we can do. I don't want to do an excessive amount of videos on this. I'm very busy. I need to get back to Machine Gods. But I'm going to go through at least one mission and show you guys how it works and how it is different from the original ronin. So in this expansion, you're going to be creating a ninja rather than a ronin. The character creation is a little bit different. There are some things that you do the same, but some of the elements will change because of the context of what you're playing and how you're playing. So if we go to the Shinobi expansion, so it says here, okay, creating your Shinobi. Let's get on with it, shall we? So you can roll appearance or leave it as a blank slate initially. You have the ninjato jutsu technique, fight of +1. So this is added to your die when you're doing combat. The white die normally reflects your character. The black die normally reflects your opponent or your enemy. Depending on the enemy, they may also have modifiers to their dice when you're rolling for interactions, whether it be sneaking, talking, fighting, intimidating. You normally roll these 2 dice. There may also be some occasions where you may need a d4. For example, if you need to identify which noble clan you are working against at any one time, you generate 4 noble clans, so having a d4 just to help identify a random clan can help sometimes. Not very often, but can help. But yeah, you add the fight modifier to your dice. Your block value is the one where it's essentially the number of times you can get hit without being killed. Your block value will reset after each encounter. I'm pretty sure it doesn't reset after each fight, because sometimes you'll be fighting multiple opponents. So it can get very risky. We can gain more as we complete missions. Okay, yes. You start with 0 rep, 5 compassion, and 5 determination. Now, in Shinobi, you don't roll up for scars or for the nightmares, but you can develop those as the story goes on, as you complete or fail missions. So let's start off. We are going to have... I'm going to have to make sure that this stays on screen, aren't I? So we are going to have, let's move it down a little bit, 0 reputation. We're going to have 5 compassion. You can have up to 6, 5 determination. This is the first thing that's very different with Shinobi and Ronin. In Ronin, you start off with 0 to 2, and I think it's easier to obtain compassion and determination in Ronin. What else is there? We'll do our name and appearance in a second. We need the Ronin book for that. So we are going to have technique. So we're starting off with ninjato jutsu. So the ninjato is the sort of straight short sword that the ninjas are supposed to have used. I did. Again, when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of ninja movies and buy books and everything else. And I think the reason that it was straight is that it made it more useful as a tool, rather than the sort of standard sort of curved katana's design. Right, so we've got our technique of ninjato. That gives us a +1 for fight, and it gives us a starting block with 3. Now again, we can learn more techniques as we pursue our missions and our campaign, which we can then choose or select and choose depending on the situation. I have previously did a couple of videos on Ronin. I took a Ronin character through a campaign, and I think that character gained or had 2 different techniques. And again, it was a case of choosing which one was suitable for each encounter that we came to. But with the ninja character, you're starting off with 1, the ninjato. What else does it say? You have a master who is your trainer. You can write him down on your sheet with a name and appearance, but he'll never be considered your ally. So The rules for allies in this are fairly similar to the ones in Ronin. Your ally can step in when you fight against the boss. So in Ronin, your ally could step in and attack the villain first. If the ally dies, then the villain can move on to you, kind of thing. In this Shinobi, you don't have villains, you have the Nemesis. So I'm assuming that the allies will function the same in terms of attacking the Nemesis before you. Yeah? So you kind of get that buffer. But your master will never be an ally, but he could potentially become a villain or a nemesis later if you do bad. I mean, we could roll up a master, I suppose. Also note your character's age. They start as a child. Roll 2d6 and add +5 to the result. Punishments and training can increase your age during the game. Okay, so we will do that with the dice. So my age is, I've got a 7 + 5 is 12. So my character is a ninja and it starts off at age 12. Again, later on for things like training, for things such as being captured, those things can actually add to your age. So it's good to keep track of that. And family, what about our family? A 3. You are a commoner who has trained since childhood to be a disposable ninja for a noble clan. Alright, so I'm just your bog standard disposable ninja. So I'm just going to put here commoner. Should I put disposable? Nah, I'm not going to bother. Okay, what we can do now is go back to the Ronin book and we can start rolling up things like names. Now, in the back of the Shinobi book, it does actually have some tables. Is that in shot? Yeah, that's in shot. So it's in this extra material section here. To determine the name from a region. So it says here that people's names, commoners often have a surname that's actually the name of the city or region they live in. So you can generate sort of your locality name, which is for the first name kind of thing. And then, is it the first name? The surname comes before the person's name, yeah. So you can roll it. Should we roll it up? We'll roll it. We'll write up the surname first. So 2 dice, I get a black 4 and a white 1. Tucker. Now I didn't do this before with my Ronin character because we didn't have these tables. And then, roll again, got a 4-4. Shima. So, Tucker. Shima, so Hawks Island. Okay, but our actual name, sort of a use name, we'll go male. I got 4 on 1 again. That seems to be a common thing, doesn't it? Takuma. Okay. So that would be the name that I use to refer to my character as Takuma. Alright, what else do we need? We need appearance. Again, I'm going to have to keep checking this is in camera. Appearance. Noteworthy elements of my appearance. We got a 6 and a 2. Thin. Alright, don't have to roll again. So my character has a thin physique. Now, in Shinobi, the expansion, we do not have to roll for technique. We don't have to roll for family because we've already done that on that separate table there. We're not rolling for scars, scars or meaning of scars or nightmares, because these are things that we could potentially pick up on the way. Now, I think I will roll up the noble clans because these are the things that we may interact with in terms of developing and creating our story as we do the missions. Each mission will obviously be against a certain noble clan for the region, so I think I'm going to do those. Again, going to make sure that it all fits on camera. Let's move that out of the way. So for the noble clans, I'm thinking that the top one will be the sort of major clan for the region, the one with the most powerful military, the most land, maybe the most political control of the area. The other three are medium to minor clans. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up. So let's have a look. Let's do the names first. We can do the features later. Let's roll up the names. So again, for the fourth clan, the last clan, we get a 1, 1, 6. Sasori, the Scorpion clan. The third clan is a 6, 6. Ukiryu. God, I'm killing these pronunciations. Ukiryu. That's the Dragon clan. Third one, we get a 1 and a 6. So sorry, I'm going to re-roll that. We get a 5 and a 3. Shiroyuma, the Horse clan. And then the main clan, the major clan, the largest clan is 6, 2, the Squirrel clan. Akirisu, the Squirrel clan. Not the dragon, not the horse, not the scorpion, but the Squirrel clan is the biggest one. Right now, each of them has a feature in terms. Well, I mean, it says here this clan is the most powerful in the region. I mean, I suppose I could mix them around. Maybe it isn't this. Maybe the Squirrel clan isn't the most powerful. Let's roll up and see. So for the Squirrel clan, we get a 4. This clan is known for the military use of ninjas. They have a network of contacts and always know everything. Maybe they are the most powerful in terms of that. The Horse clan is a 2. It's a new clan. It just formed after another clan was exterminated in the region. Okay. The Dragon clan, a 5. This clan has a rival clan and is always prepared for war against them. So rivals with, and this is where we need the D4 sometimes, yeah? So rivals with, I don't know whether you can see that, that's a 4. So they're rivals with the Scorpion clan. Sasori clan. So would that also apply to them? Maybe they don't feel the same way, maybe. Roll a d6 for the Scorpion clan. We get a 5. That's typical. Okay. So rivals with Ukiryu clan. So these guys have got some serious enmity going on, some serious hatred going on. So they might be good. They might be good customers for my ninja clan. All right, so that's the clans done. Don't need that. What about the Nemesis? The Nemesis I can roll up when he first appears, I think. So let's go back to the Shinobi book. So we've done that, we've done that. I think we're ready to start the missions. The character creation isn't that big in terms of amount of stuff to do, but I think I want to create my master. Master. Oh, actually, should I use the ones in the back? In the back of the Shinobi expansion, you actually have sort of easy character rolls. So instead of rolling up each detail of the NPCs and stuff, you can just roll once and get all the details. But these are for your sort of random ally types. Not suitable for my master, so maybe villain or nemesis. No, I think for my master I'll just roll up normally like we did our character. So this time we are creating, let's roll it down a little bit. We're creating our master, who's not going to be an ally, but I'll put his information inside the box here. So it's going to have the same surname, so we'll just roll up the first name, male. A 6 and a 2. Shin, Master Shin. Appearance, yeah, I think we can do appearance, can't we? So appearance, we get a 6 and a 3. 6 and a 3 fat. Now there's also an asterisk, which means we need to roll again. So Master Shin is fat and, oops, we roll that. 1, 1. Fat and roll again twice. Look, I'm not going to bother with that, just going to roll again once. 3, 1. Skin spots, okay. Let us begin our adventure. So, we are going to, should I make the, yeah, I'm just going to zoom out the camera a little bit so we can get the whole book in. Right, I've repositioned the camera, redone the zoom so we can get the whole book. What I've also done is I'm going to be using this little notebook to keep track of the missions, some basic info here, both in terms of helping me to remember as I'm playing, but also as a reference from when I'm doing my my editing, because I'm thinking that I might do some graphics like I did with the Ronin story before. So we have Takashima Takuma, our ninja, our 12-year-old ninja, who's about to go on their first mission. There are 5 phases. I mentioned this in the last video. 5 phases to every mission. You got the introduction, entry, execution, exit, and the conclusion. All right, so for the introduction, first of all, we'll be looking in terms of where we are at this particular point in time. Then we're going to get assigned the actual mission. So for each one, we're rolling 6-sided dice. Like I say, the D4 is generally only when I want to identify the clan in question for purely narrative reasons. Such a good game, this. Such a good game out of Brazil. Right, for the introduction, we're rolling 1 die. So we roll, we get 2. You wake up in your small room and are alone. You gain 1 determination point. Okay, great. So this is one of the ways that you can actually restore or regenerate your attribute points. In Ronin, if you went to certain locations or had certain encounters, it could give you the option of actually regaining points that you've lost. In Shinobi, it's things like the introduction where you can actually potentially get them back. So we're getting 1 point of determination, which is good. So we're now at 6. So the determination points can be burned or used to re-roll a single die, which is always really useful. I mean, it's not the best result. The best result, I think, is if you roll a 6. In the bed you is a new child, he's a possible ally, you gain 2 determination points. You can also try and charm this possible ally to create a new ally. So it's always good rolling 6s, as of course it is. However, for some of the other elements of the mission, rolling 6s is not good. So our introduction, we wake up in a small room, we're alone, okay, getting up ready. We go to the courtyard where our master will give you the first mission, or the mission of the day. So roll on the table below to determine the mission. Also roll against which enemy clan the raid will be, and that's where we're going to be using our D4. Yeah, I don't know whether you can read this. I chose this D4 because it's one of the ones that has the numbers written on the top as well. Okay, enough about that. Let's roll. So this is a white and black die. We roll. I don't know whether this is good or bad. A 6. So in this case, white first and then black. So we got a 6, 5. So I'll put here 6, 5. Steal a sacred jewel. Okay. Now this is actually pretty good because it doesn't have these asterisks next to it, which means it's not going to cause me to have penalties to my rolls while I'm carrying it. So this is actually actually a decent one to start with. Okay. Now we also need to find out which clan we're going to be stealing from, or which clan we have been, or the clan, or our ninja clan has been hired to steal from. So D4, we get, again, I don't know whether you can read that. It's a 2, so it's actually from the horse clan. So it's going to be located in a building which is under the control, or in a region that is controlled by the Shiroyuma, or the horse clan, which is a new clan in the region. So maybe we've been hired by, who have we been hired by? I'll be 1, 2, 3, won't it? So we've been hired by 1. The Squirrel clan, the sort of most powerful clan in the land, to sort of retrieve a jewel that maybe was promised to them by the new clan. And it may have slipped their mind to actually pay it. So we've been hired to take it from them, just to sort of assert their authority kind of thing. You know, they're in charge. You don't mess with them. Okay. So once you've determined the mission, you can actually refuse if you want to, if it's going to be something extremely difficult to do and you're really low level kind of thing. However, your master will not be pleased, roll a severe punishment and roll for a new mission. You can also abandon your training altogether, but this may not be a good idea yet because, again, make enemies. So we've done the intro. We now move to phase 2. So phase 2, we are approaching the building in question. We're going to roll a d6 to find out exactly what the location is. And we've then got to try and make our way into the building to try and find this gem. But to do that, you've got to get past the guards. So each of the locations that you're going to roll for, it tells you how the location is actually protected. So we're rolling a d6. We get a 4. To be honest, low is good. Low is better. So 4 is kind of in the upper medium. So 4, it's in a mansion. You must enter the room on the top floor. The place is protected by a high wall and 2 samurai surrounding the main gate. There's a way to climb in from the back, but there are D3 minus 3 dogs and D6 minus 3 dogs and D6 minus 3 guards. So we've got an option. We can either go through the main, sort of the sort of front area and then climb up the building to get to the room, or we can try and go through the back, but that's, it comes down to randomness, which is either 2 samurai or potentially 3 dogs and 3 guards. Now, as a shinobi, as a ninja in this expansion, you're not as powerful in terms of fighting as a ronin would be. So the option of sneaking is always a good idea. So to sneak, we could play it safe. I mean, would it be safe? It could potentially be 0 and 0, couldn't it? I mean, do I feel lucky? See, the thing is, I could potentially get 3 dogs and 3 guards, or I could get 0, 0, or any combination thereof. The other option is just to take 2 samurai. See, it's the dogs that worry me, because to do sneaking, again, this is the first edition of the rules. Yeah. I did contact Tiago, and there have been some changes made. So the new version, I think currently is version 3. All these things have actually been changed in the documents, so you don't have to worry. But you always, so you've got to roll both die. The dark die reflects the opponent's perception. The light die reflects your stealth. You add your determination to the light die. So my determination is 6, right? I think my determination is 6. And your reputation value to the dark die, unless it's an animal or ninja. Again, okay, so this is something that was incorrect in the first version. If we come back to here with the common enemies and stuff, it actually says down here -2 to sneak if it's a daimyo, a ninja, or a dog. So if you're trying to sneak past a daimyo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, a ninja or a dog or an animal, you basically add +2 to the dark die. So dogs are bad for sneaking. They can detect you quite easily. If the final value of the light die is higher than the value of the dark die, you succeed. If successful, the enemy will not notice you and you can pass by. Otherwise, increase your reputation value by 1. That's not good. And you will have to face the opponent. And then you've either got a choice of either trying to escape or fight. If there is more than one enemy, you can, if you wish, make a single test, but add each additional enemy to the dark die. So in our situation, we've got an option of going via the front, so climbing the building from the front. and they're going to be getting a +1 to their die on the sneak roll. I'll be getting a plus. What have I got? What's my determination at the moment? 6. Now, 6 versus 1, +6 versus +1. You may think, oh, that's easy. Well, technically yes, but you've got to get above. If you get the same, you fail. Also, later on, there'll be situations where your determination goes down, your reputation goes up, and that makes the tests a lot harder. I think it might be worth that, because if I try and do the back, even if there's one dog, I'm getting another +2 to their roll. So I think I'm going to go in the front way, where there are 2 samurai. Now, the samurai, they've all got basic stats. So the samurai has a fight of +2 and a block of 1. I have a fight of +1 and a block of 3. Ooh, there's 2 of them. So if I screw up the stealth roll, I've got to fight 2 samurai. I've got to put faith in the dice. So if we go back to here, so for sneaking, again, there's a table here. Aliado is ally. Again, these have all been changed in the new version. Ally, possible ally, animal, enemy, spirit monster, yokai, and the nemesis. So sneaking is against animals and enemies. So we're rolling 2 dice. I am adding my determination, so I'm going to be adding +6. The enemy is going to be adding +1 because there are 2 samurai. So you get a +1 for each additional enemy unless they're dogs, in which case you add a +2. So yeah. So what don't I want? I don't want that, do I? Because then it will be equal and I fail. If it's that, they get a 6, I get a 7, I succeed. So anything but that. Black 6, white 1. Anything but that and I succeed. I shouldn't tempt fate, should I? I should not tempt fate because we all know how that goes. Right, let's see how we do. Okay. So they get 6, we get 9. So we do succeed with the sneak roll. So we manage to get past the 2 samurai guards. We climb the side of the building of this mansion. And then we're going to enter the room on the top floor. We now move to phase 3 of the mission. What's inside the room? So, where's my book? There's my book. So, phase 3, execution. You've successfully infiltrated the place and are now hidden in the shadows, watching your target. Well, not necessarily. I'm trying to search for this sacred jewel. Roll a die and consult the table according to the type of mission you're undertaking. Assassinate or steal. We are trying to steal. So if I roll a 6, again, this is what I mean. Sometimes high is good, like with your introduction, or even with things like the missions, the easy ones are the high ones. But for things like the entry and the execution, high is bad. So on a 6, the target is there. So the sacred jewel is there, but it's in the hands of my nemesis. So this could be a very early meetup with our nemesis. On a 5, the target isn't in there. Your mission is already compromised. That's not good at all. It's a trap. It's a trap. Target's inside, but you can see it's damaged. After phase 4, roll a die. If you roll a 1 or 2, the object didn't arrive in one piece and your mission has failed. Oh man, that's not good. So phase 4 is the exit. So once we've actually exited and gotten back to our clan home, we've got to check whether the item's still in one piece. Your target is in there with D6 more samurai. Your target is in there with D6 minus 1 civilians and 1 guard. Your target is right there on a table or shelf. Just grab it. I want a 1. This is one of the situations where I need a 1. Everything else is going to cause a lot of problems. So, what are we going to get? I'm hoping it's going to be a 1. You don't hear me say that very often, do you? Doink. We got a 2. Oh. So for the execution, we rolled a 2. Your target is in there with D6 minus 1 civilians and 1 guard. So if we go back over here, guards are fight +1 and block 1, and civilians are fight 0 and block 0. It all depends on how many there are, because the thing is, you do them one at a time. It's a sequence of duels. Again, this is the same in Ronin. So it's not a question of them all attacking me at the same time. It's more honourable, one against one kind of thing. So as long as there's not a lot of civilians, I could potentially fight. Let's see what happens. So, D6 minus 1. Again, I want a 1. How many civilians are there? Oh, I got a 1. How lucky is that? My first mission's going to be not too bad. All right, so 1 minus 1. So it's just 1 guard. Oh, we can do this. He says, knowing very well the dice can screw me up, but we're up against 1 guard. So what I'm going to try to do is, I'm not trying to do, but I'm going to narrate the story such that I've sneakily, is that a word? Sneakily? I've sneaked in through the window, sort of crept behind a piece of furniture, and I see that there's just 1 guard looking over the room where the jewel is, and I'm going to wait for him to sort of turn around or walk away or get distracted, and then I'm going to try and do a stealth kill. Now, what that means in terms of the game mechanics, it doesn't apply. It's just a standard fight, but I'm just adding that for flavour. So, he has a fight of +1. I have a fight of +1. Oh, maybe this is not so good. But I do have a block of 3. What that means is that every time that I lose the roll, I lose 1 point of block. When I have 0 block, then the next failure kills me. Now, the guard has 1 block as well, so I'm basically going to have to hit this guy twice to take him down. Alright, so it's 1 against, so it's +1, +1. So we're each getting +1 to the roll. I do have determination points, which means I can re-roll. And I do have 3 block. After this combat, my block will reset, because this counts as 1 encounter. So we are going to attack the guard and try and do our best to survive. Okay, so we're going to attack the guard. We're getting a +1. We're both getting +1 to the roll. Let's see if we can do this. Right, so first attack. Oh, that's nice. He gets a 3, I get a 7. So he becomes block 0. So if I can do that again, I'll take him down. So the next attack. Oh, look at that. First mission's going lovely. He gets a 5, I get a 6. He goes down because he's got no block left. So, rip. Okay, we take the guard down. Excellent. Didn't have to use any of my determination, which is always good. So we now have the target, which is the sacred jewel. We now want to try and exit. So it says here, you now have to face again what you faced at the entrance. If you killed enemies at the entrance, you won't have to face them at the exit. Additionally, add 1 more guard for every 2 reputation points you have, and 1 samurai for every 3 reputation points you have. So again, reputation in Shinobi is a bad thing. But we currently have 0 reputation, and I'm going to try and sneak past those 2 samurai again. So, exit, we have 2 samurai. I'm going to try and sneak again. So again, we still have a determination of 6. I'm getting +6 to the roll. They're getting a +1 because there are 2 of them. Yeah, if there was only 1 of them, I'm getting a +6 against 0. But as it is, let's see how we do. So we roll the dice to sneak. They get a +1, makes it a 4. We get a 6, which makes it an 8. So we succeed. We sneak out very nicely. Now, this mission went very easy because I managed to roll up some very nice results. Trust me, it can go pear-shaped very, very quickly. For example, if you need to assassinate somebody, the combat becomes a lot harder. If you need to steal a vase, a body, a child, all of a sudden you're getting negatives to your roll, and that can really add up, especially once you start accumulating reputation and start using your determination dice for rerolls. So this was a nice, simple mission to start with, but trust me, it can get, depending on what the dice do to you when you're rolling up the missions, it can get very bad very quickly. So we were very lucky with this first mission, which makes a change. So we're now at step 5. We've managed to exit the building, we've managed to get away, we've managed to take down that guard. They'll probably find a body later. But as it is, we return to the Ninja Cap. Phase 5, conclusion. Your master welcomes you and you must report the outcome of your mission. If you complete the mission, you receive ninja training. Yay! If you fail, you receive severe punishment. Also, if we gain any reputation points, so if my reputation gets higher during the mission or after the mission, you're required to receive the light punishment, which is here, severe is here. If you're over 30, every light punishment must be followed by a severe punishment. Yeah, because as you get older, you kind of are expected to do better, kind of thing. But we're good, so we receive ninja training. If you receive ninja training, you can add a technique. Each technique will add, so it will take D6 years to learn, so we roll D6. We get a 2. So my character is now 14 years old. Now at the moment we have the Ninjato technique. What can we choose? Okay, so it has Kenjutsu, which is an alternative sort of fighting style with a sword, normally used with the katana. That gives me +2 fight and 2 block, so it gives me an extra 1 fight, but 1 less block. Kunai, I think are like throwing knives. A fight +1 or +4 but lose the weapon, and block 1. So these are like daggers basically. You can throw it, you get a +4 but you lose the weapon. Block 1, okay. Shuriken, yeah, we all know what shurikens are, the throwing stars, yeah. Fight +5 only on the first roll, block of 0. Torinoke, I don't know whether I'm saying that right. Can escape from combat once per mission. That could be extremely useful. I think that, I'm gonna have to look this up. I think, but Torinoke, are those like the climbing claws that they used to have? Yeah, I haven't found anything like this. Even Googling, I haven't found anything like this. But I did quickly go to my bookshelf. This is a book I bought a long time ago. I can tell that even the pages are starting to go all yucky. Look, the pages are going all faded. The humidity out here in Malaysia is not good for books. Yeah, this is a really nice book that I bought a long time ago. Cost £8.95 back in the day. I mean, I was thinking that the Torinoke could possibly be like the claws that they used to use sometimes to help climbing and use in combat sometimes. But those are called shuko or ashiko, hand or foot. So kind of like these, I don't know whether you can see these on the camera or not, kind of like these kind of clawed things. But I'm like, can escape from combat once per mission. I'm kind of thinking that it may not be the claws, it may actually be the bump. Where is it? Caltrops possibly. Dried water chestnuts. Used to use as caltrops. I'm thinking that it's more likely to be, not shuriken, these ones. Metsubushi, which are it's like the things that they used to use to create like clouds of smoke and stuff, so they could try and disappear. So Mitsubishi or slight removers cause the ninja's attackers to hesitate in their advance or improve the screen to cover the ninja's escape. So you can see here, like here, got like not explosives, but like hollowed eggs with wax plugs loaded with blinding powder, just like the predecessor of like pepper spray kind of things. They've got one here where you actually blew into it to actually emit the gas. So I'm thinking that the Torinoke could possibly be these things, the Metsubushis. So it looks like those things. It's not necessarily a fighting technique that you're learning, but it's more like a piece of equipment that you're gaining to allow you that free escape from combat once per mission, which I think might be really useful. Normally, to escape, you don't need to roll dice, you just need to spend 1 determination point for each enemy. So it's quite expensive to escape in terms of using your determination points, especially if you're up against a lot of enemies. By doing so, you avoid combat but gain 1 reputation point for each enemy you left behind. So if you come up against a group of 6 samurai, for example, you think, I can't fight them, you fail the sneak roll, what are you going to do? If you try to escape, you're going to lose 6 determination points, if you've got them, of course, and you're going to gain 6 reputation points. So I'm thinking that I'll make do with the ninjato, the ninja sword for the time being. I don't think I'll bother getting another weapon. I'm thinking the Torinoke could be extremely useful. It also says here, or any other technique from the core book. So you can always go back to the Ronin book, yeah, and learn one of the sort of standard or uncommon techniques which are here. I think if I remember correctly, my Ronin character, Nobu, he started with the Kusarigama, and I think later on he learned the Odachi techniques. But I think we are going to learn that one, Torinoke. I don't know whether that's the correct name or not, but it's essentially, like I say, like that blinding power to allow me to escape. I think that's going to be extremely useful. So I'm just going to write that down. So I've written it here. I've put my ninjato jutsu skill at the top there, +1 fight, 3 block, and then Torinoke that can escape from combat. So I put them both up there. So that's what I've learned. So we have 1 successful mission, which is amazing. I've also put it here for the conclusion. Now this video has been going on long enough. I don't want this to be too long, so we'll stop the video there. But I think you guys can see how the mission sequence works. But yeah, it's the Nemesis. Should we roll up the Nemesis? Let's just quickly finish the video by rolling up our Nemesis, just so you guys can see how that works. So our Nemesis, we're going to create a name. Actually, there are Nemesis. There's a quick one at the back here, isn't there? Yeah. So at the back of the book, you've got a quick chart here. 1 roll, you get your Nemesis details or villain details. So we're going to roll. We get a 1-4, a 1-4, Satoshi, Toothy, and Aijutsu. So that's the drawing of the sword and striking in 1 blow. So that's our Nemesis. Okay. And we've got that connection, haven't we? So with this Nemesis, you can run across them potentially in every mission. And if you defeat the Nemesis, he will come back. But every time you've got to roll on this returns thing to see how he's got harder, got stronger, whatever, got different. But we can roll up the connection. Let's roll a light d6 for a change. So what's our connection? A 2. He reminds you so much of the person you loved most in life. Father, maybe? Because again, I'm going through like ninja movies and books and everything else. It seems that there were elements of the ninja membership that were basically stolen from families, kind of thing. They stole children, kind of thing. Maybe a distant memory of when I was young, when I was taken from my family. But this person reminds me. It could be that it could be my father. You never know how this story's gonna go, do you? But yes, that is the Shinobi expansion to Ronin. We've done some character creation. We've run a mission. I'm now going to use this and continue this ninja's career over the next few days and see where it leads me. I could die in the next mission. We never know. But I won't be doing that on camera because, like I say, I've actually got a backlog of things I need to get done because I've been away for so long. Again, because my I tore a load of ligaments in my back, so it was difficult for me to move and do anything. So I do have a backlog of stuff that I need to get done, but I wanted to get this out because I was very excited to get this expansion, and I will be playing this in my own time. But yes, highly recommend it. It is on drive-through. It is pay what you want, so you could potentially get this for free. I would, however, ask that if you can spare a little bit of money, $1, $2, $3, whatever, I do highly recommend that you put a little bit of money towards the purchase, just to show our appreciation for the designer, and to give a little something back. The base game, I think, if I remember correctly, is also pay what you want, but I'm not 100% sure. But again, you'll need Ronin for you to play the Shinobi expansion. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. It was quite a simple mission to begin with. Hasn't happened before. Like I say, I've played through 4 or 5 characters, I think. I don't think I've ever had a mission that easy. It's the luck of the dice. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm now, I think, going to prepare and continue with my Machine God series. But I have some others that I'm supposed to be doing. Some other games that have waited far too long for me to do. But yes, until the next video, thank you very much for watching. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. Spread the word as well, please. Anyway, guys, take care. Stay safe. Cheers.